Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Jubin, and in this episode 7 of Databricks Azure Databricks series, we are going to look at Unity Catalog, why the governance matters, and this is what keeps everything we have built so far secure and organized. So let's get started. So first of all, what is Unity Catalog? Unity Catalog is a Databricks centralized governance layer that manages the data discovery, access control, lineage, auditing, and metadata across all workspaces and compute clusters. So we are going to see this in action today. And think of this like Apache Spark processes data, Delta Lake stores the data, Unity Catalog governs who can discover and access the data. So management, Metastore, access, while the Databricks workspace is what doing the cluster and SQL warehousing and data policies uh, have the data privileges, column, mask, row filters. So you can give the roles, you can assign someone permission, you look at the lineage. So all of this we are going to look at in the in our Databricks workspace. So it's organized data into three level namespaces. So first of all, first namespace is the catalog.schema.table, and for example, sales, customers orders, and top level container often contains the business domain or environment. Schema is the group related to the tables, and the table actual is where the table's actual data is stored in Delta Lake. And above all sits the Metastore, which stores the metadata and permissions. So we are going to look at about the three levels in more detail in a diagram in a bit. But first, let's compare working without a Unity catalog and working with it. So um, when you have a Unity catalog, when you do not have a Unity catalog, permissions are set separately in every workspace. So if you have multiple workspaces, you are managing access rules in multiple places. There is no single view of who can access what. This makes audits and security reviews much harder. It is hard to trace where data actually came from, which makes debugging the data quality issues much more painful. And it's hard to trace it because it's hard to trace. And with Unity Catalog, you manage access in one place. It applies across all workspaces. So you set the permission once, it enforced everywhere. You get a clear view of every permission in one dashboard, making audits far simpler. And you get full lineage from raw data all the way to the final report. So you can always trace exactly where a number came from. So this is the hierarchy I was talking about earlier, is where the Unity catalog organizes data assets into hierarchical namespaces, which simplifies governance, access control, and data discovery. So at the top is the Metastore, which serves as a central metadata repository for an organization, typically deployed per cloud, deploy per region. And the a Metastore contains one or more catalogs, which, for example, here is the sales catalog, marketing catalog, and finance catalog, which provide a logical separation for the data based on business domains, teams, or environments, such as deployment or production environment, development or production. And each catalog, within the catalog, there are schemas. Uh, and within the schemas there are tables. So the schemas organize related database objects, much like folder group files in a file system. Each schema contains tables, views, and other data objects that store or expose your data. Because every object follows this hierarchy, you will reference table using fully qualified name. So catalog.schema.table name. So every table live inside the same three level structure. And Unity Catalog gives you four important things. One is the centralized access control. So you have your permissions at one place. Once you apply across every connected workspace, you don't need to configure it in each workspace separately. Data lineage, so you can see where the data came from and how it is used everywhere. which is invaluable when you need to understand the impact of the change. And auditing. So every query and every access is logged automatically, which matters a lot for compliance and security reviews. And fine-grained permissions. So you control access down to the row and column level, not just at the whole table. Useful when you have different people viewing different slices of the same table. So let's jump to the demo now. Uh, this is our Databricks, and we we can access Unity Catalog by going to the catalog by clicking on catalog here. And now we want to, and now it suggests me some demo catalog or tables. So if you look at the sales customers, it it is managed by Databricks, but I don't think, yeah, but and there is some sample data here. You can look at the details, you can look at permission, history, lineage. But let's look at the data we created. So in our demo workspace, we go to the default, and these are the two tables I created. So we created the orders table, and we can look at the overview. So the AI or the Databricks Genie suggests you what this table is. You can accept it. You can accept the AI suggestion, and it will add this as a description for you. You can also modify or change it. I'll just keep it as it is. And then it tells me metadata about my table, and tells me that it is managed, and when it was last updated, and the size of this data, how many files are there. And if I want monitoring, then I can monitor it. I can create new policy, create new tags or row filters, and who created this, what are some related assets. So this is the lineage that we'll look in a bit. And then the sample data. So it just shows a snapshot. There are only 3 rows right now, but if there are more rows, it would just show a snapshot of that sample. And then more details, it shows us the storage location, the table ID. It is the Databricks ID of the table when it was created, the properties of this table, uh, and the data quality monitoring is disabled. And then when we look at the permission and when we look at the grant, we can apply a specific grant and all privileges, or maybe manage this. So we specific, and then we to all account users, and then when we confirm, we would be able to grant specific permission to all account users, which is just selecting the data so they cannot modify it. And then as I was mentioning, the hierarchy, so this is the default workspace, default, and the orders table. And now when we look at the policies, we currently don't have any policies over here, but we can define new policy here where we enter the name, description, and how this policy should control the access to the data, and principal scope of this policy. So who it should be applied to, who should be excluded, and what is the scope of this, which we'll look at, like should this just be to the orders table, or what database it applies to. So this is more granular, and one thing I forgot to show you is that you can also create this policy from the notebook or from the SQL itself. So going back to the policies, we can look at the history of how this table was modified. This is loading up. So this is same as looking at the version history, and then uh, lineage. So this is what I was talking about, that we can see the entire lineage of where this data got or table got modified, and wherever this is referenced. So it was referenced first in this notebook, then it was referenced here in this another one, then this notebook, and then this SQL which we created in the last episode. So you can look at the exact notebooks, what they did with this, and then it's loading up all my episodes, and then it is also included here in the dashboard. So and then insights is going to show me about the table usage inside, like when it was used, and then quality is we haven't enabled the monitoring the quality. So That's it for the demo of the Unity catalog, which is you can reference to the catalog on the left pane here. And quick recap. So Unity Catalog centralizes the governance across every workspace in one place, solving permissions everywhere, uh, which was the problem earlier. And the data is organized in Metastore, then catalog, then schema, and then the table. You get the lineage, auditing, and fine-grained permissions out of the box. So that's it for this tutorial. And thank you for so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. And it really helps me with this series reach more people. And in the next video, we will build a more real ETL pipeline with workflows, automating notebooks, and that we have built so far. So take care and see you in the next one.